The final piece of the depth of field puzzle is a pretty simple one. Compression, angle of view, or if you want to call it the focal length that you're shooting at. These three things basically revolve the same thing. How much you're zooming in on something, how much you're compressing that angle of view. For instance, we go back to our kit lens and we turn it to the widest possible angle that we can shoot at. This particular lens goes from 28 to 80 millimeters. Now that again refers to the angle of view and or the focal length of the lens. So if we turn it to 28 millimeters, a very wide angle of view, and I move my focus ring to minimum focal distance, I can see a fairly blurry background behind my finger. That blurry background comes from the fact that I'm using a large hole. I'm at my minimum focal distance, and poof, blurry background. If I'd like to increase that blur, to minimize my depth of field, all I have to do is compress, change the focal length. I'm going to go from 28 now to 50. All I do is change the zoom area. It tells me 28 to 50. Once I get to 50, I bring my finger back up, same position, and I look at the background now. My angle of view has, of course, decreased. It's gotten tighter. But with that angle of view comes compression, or compressing that blur. Robin likes to call it a very squishy background. So as you zoom, you squishify the background, giving you less and less depth of field. Now if I go all the way out to 80 millimeters and come up, finger back up in the same spot, you'll notice that depth of field is decreased dramatically. Everything behind my finger is now very, very blurry. As a matter of fact, the depth doesn't even make it all the way past my entire finger. I'm only getting about a half a finger in focus. If I'd like more depth of field, in this case, I simply back off on my zoom. I'm going to go to about a 60 millimeter. And right about there is where I get my entire finger in focus. Now the background's still plenty blurry. If I wanted more depth of field, I unzoom. And now, ooh, I've got much more. And while the background way back there is in focus still, I get much more than my finger. Matter of fact, I'm still getting my whole hand as I spread my hand out. See, so there's a pretty big difference with that. Three key elements of depth of field. Compression, i.e. your angle of view, i.e. your focal length that you've chosen. How large or how small the hole is. And the last one, of course, is where in the world are you focusing? Is it close, which in case would give you a very shallow depth of field, or are you focusing further away, which spreads it out? Master these three pieces, learn how to use them independently and with each other. You'll be awesome at this whole depth of field thing. Good luck. You've got homework to do. We'll see you next week.